Hello, and welcome back to another episode of After Dark with Tyler on the T3 Media Studios channel, your place for entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans. Thank you for joining us for episode 2, and I would like to start off by apologizing for the delay in the episode. If you don't know, we here in Houston just had a hurricane. We're still kind of suffering from the effects of Hurricane Beryl that came through a couple of weeks ago. Most of us didn't have power for quite some time. But we are now back up and going. So thank you for joining us. If you're watching live, please feel free to join in the chat. And we have some exciting things to talk about today. It's going to be a quick episode. We're going to talk about 4 YouTube videos that absolutely destroyed me. And if you're into that kind of thing, pay attention because you might want to watch them too. We're also going to have our review on MaXXXine and our Longlegs review. And for Longlegs, we have a special guest tonight. We have with us Lena, who is here. She came to the opening weekend of Longlegs with me, and we're going to talk about that. And we also have the man who makes this all possible, Chris Fagan, is, of course, always in the studio with us.
Hey.
So I guess without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to talk about 4 videos that exist strictly on YouTube that will absolutely fuck you up. So I'm going to tell you these 4 videos and what they're about. And if you are into that kind of thing and you want to just, ruin your night, go watch them. We'll probably put them in the show notes, links to them after the show. If you're watching live, they won't be there. But if you look back maybe tomorrow, we'll have them in there for you guys. All right. So I'm going to start with a video that's actually a true crime. It's done on a channel called 10 to Life. It's done by a YouTuber named Annie Elise. She is a phenomenal YouTuber when it comes to true crime. She doesn't just tell the story of the crime. She does like a really big deep dive and goes like really into the trenches of the crime. And that's probably why it's so messed up whenever you watch these videos, because she gives you all the dirty details that will really mess you up. So again, don't watch this if you're not into that kind of thing, because it's pretty traumatic. Chris, real quick, am I allowed to? I just took a look at the screen. I guess what's her name? Momo? Mm-hmm. Anyway, am I allowed to say words like?
Well, we are on TikTok, so certain words.
Okay, I'm going to try to edit my wording as good as possible. Hopefully you guys understand what I mean. So the first video, it's a true crime. It's called Barn of Horrors, and this is the story of Sierra Joggin, who tragically passed away. Part of what makes this so traumatic to me and like really stick with me was how the circumstances of her getting abducted and dying is. So basically, she was with her boyfriend since they were like 15, high school sweethearts. When she died, I think she was 20. They were still together. They were like in the process of either they were engaged or about to get engaged. And she's visiting him at his house. They only live about like 2 miles from each other or something. So at the end of her visiting him, she's going back home to her parents. And she's riding her bike home, and he's following her on a motorcycle. And he gets to about like 90 yards of her house. Like they can see her house in the distance. And she's like, "Oh, you don't got to walk me anymore. You can leave. I'm good." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Okay, love you, bye." He leaves. And within that split moment of him leaving her and her continuing on to her house, she was right there by her driveway. Somebody came and abducted her, and she did ultimately end up dying. So what's so traumatic about this story is that her boyfriend has to live with for the rest of his life, that if he had just walked her all the way to the driveway or to her door, she probably would still be alive. In addition to that, the circumstances to which she died were so traumatic. It's a horrible, horrible way to die, and no one deserves that. I don't know. Have you guys heard about this case before?
No.
No? Okay. Well, if you're interested, it is the way she died. I don't want to give anything away in case anybody's going to watch it for the first time, but she did die a pretty traumatic death. And again, the poor boyfriend has to live with that for the rest of his life. So if you want to maybe cry or see something that makes you really sad, watch that video.
If you want to cry. If you feel like crying.
Okay, listen, we're all here after dark, so we all have an interest in the morbid and the macabre. So hopefully somebody out there is going to watch these and enjoy it. And also, she is a victim, and her stories deserves to be, seen, and the killer deserves to be known for what he is, which was a monster. And he was caught, and He actually, I think he represented himself in court. And in the video that I'm talking about, you get to see some of him defending himself in court. It's absolutely horrendous.
I think I did hear about that. I think I did. I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Even he represented himself, and it was just a shit show. Okay, so again, Barn of Horrors on 10 to Life with Annie Elise. So the next one is called The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Now, this is not a true crime story. This is a fictional story. It is actually by director Ari Aster, which some people might have seen this one already, especially if you're a horror fan, because, Ari Aster has a really big fan base. So you might have went to see some of his earlier work. I actually saw this before I knew it was by Ari Aster, and then when I realized it was by him, I was like, oh my God, no way. So this one is kind of, it's just really like a really shocking video. It's about a family with a very, very disturbing dark secret.
Oh, I've seen this. I saw that years ago, yeah. Yep.
Yes, it's up there on the screen right now.
That one messed me up. Yeah,
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, so if you have not seen this yet, I recommend, if you don't like true crime because you don't want to see something that's real, definitely take a look at this one because it is make-believe, so you might be able to sleep tonight and not have to worry too much. It's from the mind of Ari Aster, so that right there should tell you alone that you're going to be in for a wild ride.
Yeah, the premise of that one, I remember that one. That was crazy.
Yeah,
That was a bad one. That was
went
bad.
to
Real
some
bad,
really
yeah.
dark places.
Yeah.
Yes. So if what we're saying right now is alluding to the family secret, and the good thing is you really learn about the deep dark secret like within the first couple of minutes of the short story. I think it's like 28 minutes long altogether, but you find out the secret at the very beginning, and then the rest of the show is how the family is dealing and the trauma that comes from this secret. And this secret, the family secret, it's a dark one. It's pretty dark. So
Very dark. Very, very dark.
Yes.
On After Dark.
So give that one a shot and let us know what you think in the comments. So the next one is another fictional story, but this one is way darker. So this one is really bad. I recommend you don't watch this if you are eating or plan on eating anytime soon. So there's a YouTuber called, his name is actually Spooky Rice. He doesn't actually show his true identity, but he goes by Spooky Rice. He has a channel called Disturbing Breakdowns, where he does an absolutely amazing job at breaking down the most disturbing horror movies you can find. Now, there are a lot of them that I could have talked about, but I just went in for the jugular and I'm deciding to talk about probably the absolute worst one on his channel, and that is 120 Days of Sallow. There's another word for it, but I don't think I can say it. Depending on what country you're in, it's either 120 Days of Sallow. The other one is 120 Days of another S word, but I don't think I can say it. Google it, you'll know what I mean. This movie is rightfully banned in America and lots of other countries. Of course, you can still watch his breakdown, though, on YouTube. If you want to watch the full movie, I personally have not seen the full movie because the breakdown alone was so bad. If the movie is worse, I don't think I could even handle it. It's basically a movie about rich people that pay money to do horrible things to people that are abducted.
Oh.
And when I say horrible things, I mean the worst things you can think of. The worst things. I obviously cannot say them on YouTube or TikTok. Maybe read a synopsis of it before you go into it, or just go into it blind like I did and just have your week ruined. But again, it is fictional, so we don't have to, worry about any real monsters from this one. So if you're okay with just watching something that I will say is disgusting, disturbing, brutal, and terrifying, then watch it. And if not, it's not your thing, definitely skip that one. And again, do not watch it while you're eating. Okay, the last one is another true crime, and it's also by Annie Elise, just because there's a lot of true crime on YouTube, but I don't think there's a YouTuber that does it as well as Annie Elise. And you can read about, or you can listen to the story of this true crime on lots of other platforms by lots of other people. But I think Annie Elise gave the details that will really, really destroy you. And if you are like me and you don't want to skip over the gory details, because you're kind of just into true crime or you like the darker side of things, then definitely listen to the one by Annie Elise. And it's called, actually, the title is just literally Young Couple Kidnap, tortured, burned, and murdered.
Straight to the point.
That is the title of the video.
Young couple, what?
Kidnapped, tortured, burned, and murdered. And it is the story of Shannon Christian and Christopher Newsom. It's from Knoxville, Tennessee, is where it took place. And it's basically a really just what seemed to be an all-American college couple. They were going to a party, but before the party, they were kind of just hanging out in Shannon's apartment parking lot, just talking by her car. A group of people came up to hijack the car. And for some reason, instead of just taking her car, they took the couple with it. I think it came out that they didn't plan on doing that, but they decided to do that. I think someone said it might have been they decided to take them for ransom. I'm not sure. But ransom would have been so much better than what happened to this couple. So I'll start by telling you what happened to the guy. He died first, and he died a horrible death, but it was actually nothing compared to what Shannon went through. So he died at the beginning of the night, and he was burned, tortured, walked on a leash. He was R-worded and shot. And that was a kind death compared to what they did to her. And I don't want to get into it because it's just so morbid, and I don't want to even talk about it in case anybody on here doesn't want to hear about those kinds of things. Looking back on it, this was probably a really, really dark episode that I didn't plan on it being this dark. But yeah, so this one is probably the video that has stuck with me the longest and the worst. I go back to this one sometimes that I can't get it out of my head because I do think that the way that the girl died, in my opinion, is probably the worst possible way anybody could die. And I don't watch these videos because I enjoy hearing about these things. I watch them because I like to know about what people are capable of and to see what we're living around, and we are living with the people in the world who are capable of these types of things. And I think it's good to, just be aware of that and not always just believe that the world is, nice and beautiful and rainbows and unicorns and all of that, that it's really dark too. And also these victims, it's important for their stories to be heard and told as well. We don't want to sugarcoat about what happened to them because they weren't sugarcoated whenever it was happening to them. So we need to do our due diligence by the victims by, staying aware and up to date on the cases that are going on around us. So again, this one is probably the one I would say, if you're hesitant about watching any of these, don't watch this one. And if you are interested, like me, give it a shot and let us know what you think in the comments. And now to a much lighter topic. I think we'll go ahead and do Longlegs first, just because I've been talking a lot. And Lena is here, and we want to definitely get her opinion. I think we were both in unison that we enjoyed it, both. Yeah. But I want to get Lena's opinion on exactly what she thought, and then I'll give you guys mine.
I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, going into it, I didn't even watch the preview, so I had no idea. I think whatever you just sent me.
Yeah.
I think you just sent me, like, a screenshot of, like, what people were saying about it.
So you went in totally blind.
Yeah, I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah. And
then I also didn't realize it was Nicolas Cage until way later on, but I think that's also why I made it funnier.
Yeah.
Like, realizing it was him doing that. But those are, like, my favorite types of movies where it's, like, the psychological thrillers where, it's, like, there's twists and turns. And if you pay attention to certain things in the background, you see certain things. Like, there's, like little Easter eggs in them. And I like the big, like, plot twists and turns and stuff. I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah. So we kind of both went into it, like, I guess, opposite spectrum. So I knew it was Nicolas Cage. So I'm watching it, and I'm thinking it's, like, it's not supposed to be funny, but knowing it's him,
but
it's
it
just
was
like,
funny. Yeah, it's not supposed to be, but it looks
right.
funny.
Especially when you know who it is. It's like, you imagine, so they didn't show his face in any of the previews because they want you to be shocked when you see it. So seeing it and knowing that it's him under there, it's a little bit comical. But it's not supposed to be. And so I will say that I think that the marketing for the movie, there wasn't that much, actually. I've seen more marketing now that the movie's come out than before it came out. But the marketing was kind of, dubbing it as the most horrifying movie of 2024. Of, like, people throwing up in the theater. And I want to say to, like, anybody who has not seen it yet, don't go in there with that mindset.
Yeah.
Because that's the mindset I went in there with, and I was waiting to be scared the entire time. And it was not scary. I will tell you that right now. Even for someone who gets scared easily, I don't think there's not jump scares.
No, there was no jump scares. I thought about that too, yeah.
Yeah. It's freaky and it's
like
creepy.
Gory, but it wasn't
definitely
scary.
Gory, yeah. Right. So if you haven't seen it yet and you plan to, go in knowing that what it's going to be is kind of like a whodunit or like a mystery, but more like a paranormal whodunit.
Yeah.
Because there is definitely a paranormal element to the movie. The what do you call it, Chris? What do you call what do you call like the ambiance of the movie, like the settings and like the colors and lighting?
The ambiance.
Oh, sure. The ambiance of the movie was kind of dark and unsettling, and I really enjoyed that.
Cinematography?
The cinematography.
Yeah, the way it was filmed,
Yeah.
it looked really cool.
Yeah.
I liked the way it was filmed.
Yeah, it didn't give a lot of hopefulness or cheer. It opened with like kind of dark and desperation.
It looked gloomy. Yeah,
Definitely gloomy. And I like those kind of movies because we're horror fans, so we're not going in there to be happy and cheerful. We're going in to be unsettled, and it was very unsettling. It's
I like that.
it was a little confusing during the movie because it's very clear that there's a mystery going on, and they give you so many clues. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I was watching it at home, I probably would have paused it and been like, okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
this
have to pay attention. Like, you can't skip a beat with that. You have to pay
Yes.
attention the whole time.
You can't. You really can't. But then it does have, a ending that doesn't leave you wanting more. Like, you get what you've invested your time in through the movie. You get your payout in the end. You learn, what you were looking for.
Yeah.
So, all in all, I liked it. I would want to watch it again.
I like that.
There are some plot holes that were left kind of, in my opinion, some things that we don't understand really, but I don't know if we're supposed to. So, or maybe I will watch it again and maybe we'll figure it all
And
out.
you
Like
would
for
see
instance,
it differently.
for instance, and this is not a spoiler, but the ball. Remember the silver ball?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we can't say what it was or where it was, but we never really learned what the significance
What it was,
Yeah, it's just kind of there. And I'm like, if we watch it again, will we figure it out? Or
That's right.
is there going to be another movie we'll figure it out? So definitely our suggestion, give it a watch. Would you agree?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. But I agree, though, I wouldn't go in with the mindset of, like,
I like that.
the, what other people were saying about, like,
Yeah.
oh, it's, like, the scariest movie, you're going to throw up seeing it. It's not like that. It's good, but, like, don't go with that mindset.
Right. It's good for what it is.
Yeah.
And I hate that I was kind of misled because the whole time I was kind of wanting something.
Yeah.
If I would have known what it was, I would have just relaxed and watched it for what it is. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So best advice, just go in knowing what you're going into and enjoy the movie. Chris, have you seen it? Do you plan on seeing it?
I plan on seeing it, but I have not seen it yet. And Ed tomorrow in the comments section says the word we're probably thinking of is aesthetic. Aesthetics.
Or maybe that, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, aesthetic.
Aesthetics. Yeah, aesthetic.
Thank you for that. Okay, so now we'll talk about MaXXXine. This one will have spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you could probably, this is our last segment of the night, so you can hop out now. Please follow us on Instagram. We all have had our names. Do we have our tags tonight, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. Or Lena, just go ahead and shout yours out real quick.
Mine is Lena Zamora _.
Let me put you on the screen real quick. There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. So if you're hopping out, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you back on the next episode. And if you're sticking around to hear about MaXXXine, we're going to hop right into it. So as we all know, MaXXXine is the third in the trilogy of the X universe from Ty West. We have Pearl, X, and now MaXXXine.
Oh, okay. I have seen X, but I haven't seen Pearl or
Okay.
this new one. Okay, but I've
So
seen X.
you can actually skip Pearl and just go X to MaXXXine.
Because Pearl is
Really?
the prequel.
Pearl is a prequel, and it's not about MaXXXine. So it's about the old lady in X. It's the old lady's origin story. So
Oh.
technically, when watching MaXXXine, the old lady's dead already. So we don't need to hear her origin story. You could go straight
Okay.
from X to MaXXXine. And MaXXXine picks up after X ends, and MaXXXine is like, peace out, bitches. I killed you, old lady. I'm going to Hollywood. And she does. She goes to Hollywood, and she clearly has not gotten caught for the crimes from the movie X. And she is trying to break out of the adult film world into actual movies. And she does get cast as a main character in The Puritan 2, which is a horror movie that came out in the 80s. Well, I don't know if it's actually a real movie, but in this, it's a horror movie that was coming out in the 80s called The Puritan 2. But she is stalked by somebody from her past, someone who knows what she did at the farm. And at the same time, there's a Night Stalker in the 80s in Hollywood or in LA where, the Night Stalker is killing people Her friends start dying. Everyone assumes it's a Night Stalker, but we find out that it's really, a killer who is someone more close to her.
Wasn't there a serial killer called the Night Stalker?
Yes.
That was featured in
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. So they actually, they use the real life serial killer, the Night Stalker, in this movie. We don't see him or anything, but he's alluded to a lot because people keep dying. The news is on. A Night Stalker gets a new victim. So everyone around her thinks it's a Night Stalker, but she's getting these notes and these weird things, and she knows that it's probably somebody close to her. And so it's actually not the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker is there. He is killing girls, but the people who are killing people close to her is someone who knows her secret. And I liked the movie a lot. I would actually say it's probably my favorite out of the three. Previously, my favorite was X. This one kind of feels like a more campy version of X. It's the 80s, so it's kind of fun and loud, and we have a cameo from Halsey in it.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a...
Me too.
It's a good movie, in my opinion. I think everyone should watch it. I hate to talk spoilers because I know both of y'all haven't seen it. Are you sure y'all don't mind?
I don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Go for it.
So the things I did not like about this movie was when we find out who the killer is. Turns out it's her dad.
Oh my God! I can't believe you told us that.
It was her dad.
Were you prepared for that, Lena? Were you prepared for that spoiler?
I asked y'all.
Jesus.
I asked.
Wait, her dad was in the church or something,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So her dad has been trying to find her because all of the girls Satan's taking all of our girls to Hollywood and making them hoes and whores and they're selling their soul. So
Did you say hoes or whores? Whores or hoes?
I said both.
Oh. But what did he say?
said both.
Oh, he didn't say either of those words. That was just my interpretation.
Oh, that was your translation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so and he's taking all of her sex worker friends around her, and I guess we don't really see this part, but he's basically gave them the option, hey, come back to the church, or come to the church, come to the light. And if they're like, no, he's like, fine, then I'm going to kill you. Because that's very godly of him. So,
Doing God's work.
Yes, that's what he thinks.
Getting rid of all the whores.
Yes.
A whore Babylon.
Yes. So that is the premise. So anyway, at the end, we find out who the killer is, and he has his daughter at the end, his main girl. Yes.
His main hoe.
And so the things I did not like was I felt like the climax where we find out who it is, and then there's a scene where she's trying to get away from him. I felt like that scene was kind of cheesy and corny done. It was done. I just didn't like that scene. It felt rushed. I didn't enjoy that. But overall, and there was another part in the movie that I'm completely confused about. There is a guy who tries to kill MaXXXine near the beginning of the movie. And I don't know if it was a Night Stalker because Richard Ramirez is the real Night Stalker. That's his name. So the guy who tries to kill MaXXXine in the beginning does not look anything like Richard Ramirez. So I don't think it's the Night Stalker. I'm not sure if they tried to
just use the name.
Maybe
just
but
the name
the Night
then.
Stalker is so his picture is very infamous. I feel like they should have used somebody that looked more like him if that's what they were doing. But anyway, he tries to kill her in the beginning, but MaXXXine Minx is a bad bitch, and that's not happening with her. So she ends up literally stomping his balls.
Oh, shit.
Until they squirt. Yeah. She smashes them. And she's she lets him live, but I don't know if that was a Night Stalker or what. It was just a random scene in the movie that it wasn't necessarily needed. And
just thrown in there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a badass scene. It was awesome, but I'm who was that guy? What happened about his balls?
What happened about his balls?
Whatever happened to him?
Oh, we're gonna have a spin-off on his balls?
On his balls. Yeah.
Right? The ballless murderer.
Maybe so.
But yeah, that was my thoughts on MaXXXine. Again, I hate that I spoiled it for anybody who hasn't seen it. If you have seen it, please let me know what you think in the comments about who that guy was whose balls got stomped, and how you felt about the, in my opinion, rushed scene with her dad and the trying to convert her back to the church.
Stop being hoish.
Literally.
Trying to save all the hoes.
Well, that is all we have for you tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. I know we got a late start, so we appreciate you guys watching. Please give us a like and a follow while you're here if you haven't already. Again, if you want to follow me, it's at Tyordie, TYORDIE _ on Instagram and TikTok, but I don't really use TikTok.
We know. Yeah, this conversation got us removed from TikTok.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We just got struck off of TikTok.
Oh, no.
Oops. I don't doubt it though.
Maybe because we kept saying whore.
No, it was the first. It was during the first segment.
Oh, really?
It's okay. It was just a warning this time.
My bad.
We just won't stream on TikTok.
I don't think we should stream on TikTok when I'm talking anymore. And then, Lena, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I had fun.
And if people want to find you online, what can they do?
Lena Zamora _.
Oh, and before you go, I want to, here, we got another comment. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong screen. From Ed Tomorrow says, again, did y'all hear that the main actress, whatever her name is,
Mia
was
Goth?
a complete dick to the crew of the movie?
Oh,
We should have talked
really?
about this.
Go for it. Go
I did
fast.
not
Go
know
ahead.
that.
Okay, real fast. So Mia Goth, mind you, love her, Scream
Love
Queen.
her.
We stand Mia, but we've heard some nasty rumors about Mia. And who said that in the comments?
Oh, no.
It's Ed Tomorrow. There we go.
Ed, thank you so much for reminding me of this. I hope you're still here watching. From what I heard, the story is she had a guy in the cast. He was an extra. He was laying on the ground for like a scene. He had to lay there for a long time. And she came and she kicked him in his head. And he thought maybe it was an accident. But then she came back and she did it again. It was clearly not an accident. Like the first time she stepped on his head, he was
my
like, maybe she didn't
gosh.
see me. And the next time she kicked him in the head. And then he was like, okay, that was definitely on purpose. So he went and he made a complaint or something. He told somebody. And then she followed him into a bathroom and said, I don't know the exact words, but something very close along the lines of, nobody will believe you because you're nobody, you're nothing. Nobody will ever believe a word you say. Or she said, like, stop being a little baby or something like that. Which, it's funny because the exact quote that I read, I could actually hear her saying that. Like, I read that quote in her voice. I was like, that sounds like something MaXXXine would say. Or something, you know.
She was really getting into character.
She's like really-
Yeah.
She's method acting.
She was really getting into her role there.
Right.
I can't believe I haven't heard about that.
Yeah. We should have taught. It should have been on the list. I don't know why I
Does
don't
this- know that.
Lena, let me ask you this. Does this change how you kind of feel about the actress, or you like?
I'm kind of a little bit. I love her. Like, I love her work, but why are you being mean?
Yeah, we don't like
Okay.
we don't like, what's it called? no, I can't remember words.
Mean Girls.
We don't like mean girls, but also people who like get like high on like fame and stuff.
Yeah.
What, Ed? What's the word for that? When you got
Blade
that
hasn't
one?
even come out yet. I mean, come on. But at the same time, she's had 3 movies where she was the main star. So maybe.
Yeah, more Infinity Pool.
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
forgot she was in that, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's been supporting actress in a lot of other horror movies.
Going to her
But
head
you
a
know
little
what
bit.
I think, and listen, this might be an unpopular opinion, but her and Ty West's relationship, either it's like really, really, just like really great friendship, or it's like, I don't know, I kind of feel like Ty West kind of worships her in a way, just from like interviews that like I've seen. And which, to stand your friend is amazing. You should stand your friend. But
Yeah.
I do kind of feel like she might be getting a big head from all the fame and success and being a lead actress in 3 really successful movies
Yeah.
very close together.
Ed Tomorrow confirms. Yep, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not hear about that.
Well, we will keep you posted on that topic because I can't believe I forgot to add that in here. That would have been a great one.
I
We
mean,
will
she better
definitely
not
follow.
try that shit at Marvel. I'm just saying.
Right.
She's on Blade. So, well, maybe that's why the movie's being delayed so many times.
Do you think so? Well, this
What-
is very recent. This
what
just came
if-
out.
Oh, but I mean,
But-
but if she's like this all the time.
Oh yeah, if she's
What if the directors are like, I
she's
can't
hard to
deal
work
with it.
with?
We've already gone through 3 directors, 4 or 5 writers, maybe Kevin Feige. I mean, but at the same time, Kevin Feige does not put up with any nonsense. So
Maybe.
I
You
doubt
never
it.
know.
yeah, so
Interesting. Well, we will keep following this topic and
Yeah,
give
I'm
you guys
going to look
updates.
into this now. Now I'm curious to hear about this.
This is your new
Right.
Roman
I
Empire.
know. Yeah. I'm going to go look into it now.
Well, thank you guys, and we already did our outro, so I won't do it again.
All right.
But have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys for watching
Cool.
our video. I really do appreciate it. Remember, you can support our show by becoming a member or a Patreon. So click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss out on when we go live or post new content. Let's stay connected, grow this community together. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's keep talking.